The new series was a nostalgic ride for those who have played Cyberpunk 2077, but it was a completely new experience for people who dived into this world for the first time. The Netflix anime series just made its debut, but already it's cracked the streamer's top 10 list. It's a night and day difference from the reception that Cyberpunk 2077, the game that inspired Edgerunners, acquired when it was first released. And Edgerunners' success and a few other titles prove that Netflix should lean more into anime when adapting fan-favorite video games. The main reason comes from the fact that most anime studios have the freedom to tell an original story. Yes, the studios may also look to the game for inspiration, but being a wholly original story means there's leeway to explore different themes and elements that the original game may have only briefly touched upon. This is especially true for Edgerunners, which looks hard at how capitalism grinds people down and even offers a shockingly dark take on implanting cybernetics into your body. David Martinez learns this the hard way when he has a piece of military-grade hardware called the Sandevistan implanted into his body. The Sandevistan grants David superhuman speed and reflexes, but he must constantly inject medicine to stabilize himself. He also risks cyberpsychosis the longer he uses his implants. While Cyberpunk 2077 featured many hallmarks of its titular genre, including megacorporations that oversee everything and digitally reliving someone's memories, it only scratched the surface of those themes. This was one of the significant issues that fans of the game expressed, but perhaps the most damning criticism came from author William Gibson. Gibson, who wrote the novel Neuromancer, aka the book that served as the basis for the cyberpunk genre, tweeted out that Cyberpunk 2077 felt like GTA skinned over with a generic 80s retro future. In contrast, Edgerunners feels more in tune with the elements that make Cyberpunk appealing, even stopping to interrogate them sometimes. This type of storytelling helps flesh out the series beyond a mere game adaptation. Edgerunners is also constructed to appeal to viewers who still need to play Cyberpunk 2077. All you need to know going into the series is the basic concept, and that concept fuels a powerful story. And it still manages to include elements from the game that will please hardcore fans, such as the ever-present trauma team that leaps into action to treat the wounded. Netflix has taken this approach with its other video game anime, including Castlevania and Dota, Dragon's Blood, and the results have led to critical acclaim. Often, the biggest worry when adapting a video game is how to approach it. What do you put in? And what do you take out? Edgerunners isn't concerned with this, instead choosing to focus on its titular team and the struggles they go through. It's all the better for that decision. That doesn't mean that fans of the game are displeased with the results. Quite the contrary, Edgerunners has only managed to raise awareness about the game it's based on. Cyberpunk 2077 has seen an expansion in players due to the debut of Edgerunners, and more will probably fire the game back up in the coming weeks. In an odd bit of synergy, it also coincides with the release of the Phantom Liberty DLC, which sees the return of Keanu Reeves' Johnny Silverhand. It also helps that creatives behind Cyberpunk 2077 have had a hand in shaping Edgerunners. Bartosz Stybor, who wrote multiple cyberpunk comics for Dark Horse, served as an executive producer on the series and helped shape the story for most of the episodes. And Mike Pondsmith, who created the original tabletop game, had high praise for the series. "They fucking nailed it," he gushed on Reddit. It's scarce for the creators of an IP to be involved in a project like this, to say nothing of giving praise that feels genuine. But Edgerunners appears to be the exception, and hopefully, an example to those who want to bring a video game to the small screen. Another significant element that made Edgerunners a must-watch was the animation studio behind David's story. Studio Trigger handled the animation duties, with their fluid and frenetic style proving to be a perfect match for the tech-laced world of Cyberpunk 2077. Trigger is well known for popular anime, including Kill la Kill and the supernatural film Promare. Even more recently, the studio provided animation services for a pair of shorts in the Star Wars Visions anthology series. Netflix often teams up with studios to produce its anime series, and the results have been spectacular. Studio Mir, best known for their work on Avatar, The Last Airbender, and Young Justice. Phantoms provided the animation for Dota, Dragon's Blood, and Powerhouse struck gold with Castlevania, eventually striking a first-look deal with Netflix to produce more series for the streamer, including Masters of the Universe: Revelation. The most significant element that makes Edgerunners stand out is its main character. David undergoes some significant changes throughout the events of Edgerunners. He loses his mother, gets kicked out of school, and puts his body and mind through hell to become a cybernetic warrior. But he also finds a purpose while working with the Edgerunners and genuine love in the arms of Lucy. Though RPGs like Cyberpunk 2077 let the player customize their character, all players will have different experiences since everyone brings their expertise to the table. David's journey provides a focal point for the audience to grasp onto. His trials and tribulations make him just as much of a compelling character as Johnny Silverhand or 2077 protagonist V. Netflix has had some ups and downs with its video game adaptations. For every Castlevania, there's a Resident Evil, but it may have cracked the code with Edgerunners.